Hey, welcome to part two of this week's Elders Who Care. I'm Verna Fisher, Integrative Wisdom, and I am sharing some information from Angeles Arrien, who was an amazing woman, one of my mentors, anthropologist. I am sharing some of the notes from 2001, a conference presentation that she gave. And I have a part one. This is part two. There will be a part three because she had so much information. And I may not be doing her justice, but I'm of the mind that she would be glad that I'm sharing even the little bit that I got from her work. That's how I'm imagining it. Okay. So we talked about how to wake up to our day, right? What to ask for. Go back to that video and find out. She then went on to say, what do I long for? What am I longing for? And then she talked about fairy tales. And she says, in fairy tales, you go down the road for a bit and you turn left. And when you turn left, that's where you're trusting your intuition and your instinct. And it's never as far away as you think it is. But then you make the great crossing. And this represents change. As you make the crossing, you always stay in touch with the veiled woman who represents trust and faith. The skeleton, I don't know where she got this stuff, representing letting go, surrendering, outgrown aspects, and sacrifice. And then in this fairy tale, the helping allies, such as animals, flowers, and nature. And I'm out here in nature. During change, and this is, I think, one of the reasons, too, that it spoke to me to be sharing this now with the coronavirus and everybody having all of these upheavals and us coming into a place of recognizing where we've been off as a society. During change, we feel disoriented, disidentified, disenchanted, and disintegrated. A lot of dis in there. And as we meet the changes, as we rise to meet them, as we come to a place where we don't ignore them anymore, right? Change is good. We begin to feel reoriented, re-identified, re-enchanted, and reintegrated. So there's a lot of returning to a truer self, perhaps. So then she says with the skeleton, the backbone of the skeleton means strength and courage. You need the funny bone for humor. Humor always helps. You need a wishbone. I'm not sure if we have one of those or not, but I liked it. Our dreams and our hopes. And then she says there's the hollow little bone. And that's mystery. And she says, what's working you? What is working you? What's learning you? And she says that comes from the Appalachians. They would ask each other, what's working you? You see that worried frown on your face. What's learning you? I loved it. And the winged creatures, which I am full of today, help uncover the mystery. Then she says, after this great crossing, you come into a clearing and find what you are looking for. Yay! We found it. Eureka. So she says, and then she knows that she's still alive when she examines the 4 rivers of life. So there are 4 rivers of life. The river of inspiration, our sources, the who, what, when, where, through the 4 fires of vision, heart, creative soul's fire. So the inspiration, the soul. Imagine me talking about that, the soul. So imagine, where is that river of inspiration for you right now? The river of challenge, an invitation to grow, to stretch, to move beyond the knowable and the familiar. Well, we're in that river, right? I am the learner who is being stretched. being stretched. I may want to stay in my comfort zone. Good luck with that right now. It's like a bird, and this is really, we might have heard this one. It's like the bird sitting in a cage, swinging back and forth, with the cage doors wide open, but afraid to fly. Are you sitting there with the cage door open, but you're afraid? You're afraid to fly? Think about that one. And then she said, who or what is rattling my cage? And then she says, this could be thought of as the next standard of excellence. And so I think she was probably looking at some things from a business perspective, how, you kind of have to be like all that more practical. And she's bringing in the ancestors, and she's bringing in the tall, long body with its deep roots, right? So, but think about that, right? So far we have the river of inspiration. We have the river of challenge, and the river of the next one, surprise. The river of surprise, adventure, wonder, discovery, awe, mysteries, plan. Yay! Can I be open to it? Can I look for it? Can I trust that there is such a thing? Here's where flexibility comes in, and your humor. I've met a lot of people right now who are being very flexible, and they are really pulling out all the stops in letting go of all that used to be, because it doesn't work right now. And so they're really honing in on the river of surprise, and they're finding a lot out. Now, one of the things that she says is if we lose our sense of humor, it helps us to identify where our attachments are, where we have dug in so deeply and so tightly that we're afraid to release and let go. And she talks about the bamboo and how it can bend all the way to the ground without breaking. And how if we can find that flexibility, we can bend, but we won't break. That's the other truck leaving. We can bend, but we won't break. How do you like all these interruptions? Are they driving you crazy and mad? Or can you roll with them, right? It's the river. And lastly, and this is one that I've used a lot over the years since 2001, the river of love, to be touched and moved by life's experiences, which I think that we're having a lot of being touched in the heart right now in a lot of different ways. So she talks about the four-chambered heart. We know the heart has four chambers, but listen to what Angeles brings up. Full, open, strong, and clear. So full-hearted versus half-hearted. Open-hearted versus closed-hearted. Strong-hearted versus weak-hearted. And clear versus doubting heart. Those are the four chambers. And every day to check in with your heart. Because every day you can make adjustments. You can make changes. You don't have to wait until some big cataclysmic event. Right? That was a hummingbird. Okay. Full versus half-hearted. Half-hearted, where we've outgrown something or not fully committed. That's a half-hearted attempt. Release, let go, change something so that you can come back into that full heart. Open versus closed heart, where we are defended or suspicious. And she says, this is where we need to work on forgiveness. So think about that one, because I think that forgiveness is one of those that we may really fight. You know, we want to be justified. We want to hold on to our anger sometimes. We don't want to forgive. Although we might want forgiveness if we really admit that we've done something to somebody, if we can do that. we expect others to maybe forgive us, but, it's a lot harder, maybe, to forgive those who have offended us. A strong heart versus weak. Lacking courage to be myself. Oh boy, do I know that one. I'm not the person on the straight and narrow, and so there have been a lot of times where I have been, because I was very shy, been afraid to be strong, been afraid to show up to be who I am and not who somebody else wants me to be. Follow conventional wisdom. That's not who I was raised, grown, created to be. So now I'm pretty good about being in my strong heart. Clear versus doubting heart. So when you have a doubting heart and you're in that place of ambivalence, of hesitation, there is a need to sit with that. And so you sit and you listen in so that you can then become clear. You don't move with the doubting heart, because that could be the wisdom right there that's saying, no, there's something not right here. Something not right. So, the four-chambered heart, full, open, strong, clear. We're going to end part 2 on that note, and I hope that you will come back for part 3 of Angeles Arrien and her amazing self. She was awesome.